بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala falah. Hayya ala falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. This is the whole of chapter 103 of the Holy Quran. Suratul Asr, the time. By the time, surely man is in loss, except for those who believe and do good and exhort one another to the truth and exhort one another to patience. Second verses, chapter 63, verses 9 to 11. I won't read out the Arabic. O you who believe, let not your wealth nor your children divert you from the remembrance of Allah. And whoever does that, these are the losers. And spend out of that which we have given you before death comes to one of you. And he says, my Lord, why didn't you respite me to a near term, so that I should have given alms and been of doer of good to others, been doer of good deeds. But Allah respites not a soul when its term comes, and Allah is aware of what you do. Sadaqallahu Aliyyul Azim. I have given this sermon, the title, Use Time to Do Good. And one of the things we can do is to actually pray for those who are not keeping good health or have some other problem in life. Our brother Ali in Cuba is facing difficulties. So remember him in your prayers. Brother Jalil from Italy is not keeping good health. So pray for him as well. And everyone else who may be ill or having or suffering from some difficulty or problem. Now, related to these verses, there are some traditions of the Holy Prophet that I want to read out. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said, there are two blessings concerning which many people waste. One is health and one is free time. And again, he said, take advantage of 5 matters before 5 other matters overtake them. Your youth before you become old, your health before you fall ill, your wealth before you become poor, your free time before you become busy, and your life before you die. And again, he said, the person will not move until he has been asked about 4 things: his life and how he spent it, his knowledge and what he did with it, his wealth and how he acquired it, and how did he spend it, and his body and how he wore it out. Again, there is a hadith saying, Anas Radhiyallahu Ta'ala said, the Holy Prophet said, do good deeds in the time that you have and take advantage of the moments of gentle breeze from the mercy of Allah. Verily, Allah has moments of gentle breeze from His mercy, and He sends upon whomever He wills among His servants. And ask Allah to cover your faults and protect you from your anxieties. And there is a hadith that the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam finished the prayer. And then as soon as he had finished, suddenly he sprang to his feet and he ran out of the mosque, jumping over people who were in Sijda and so on. And when he came back, people said to him in astonishment, what was the hurry? Why did he leave the mosque in such haste? And the Holy Prophet said that after he finished his prayer, he recalled that someone had given him some gold to be given in charity. And he remembered that after he finished the prayer, and he did not like to keep it for a second longer. So he rushed out and asked for it to be distributed amongst the poor. And you see, this is what happens. And this is what the hadith of the Holy Prophet refers to. Have you ever noticed the fact that when you have time, you never remember anything that you have to do? And you sit there and you relax. But as soon as you stand up for prayer, as soon as you are required to do something. Suddenly you start remembering things. Oh, I had to do this and I had to do that and I had to do something else. Why is it that when, as God says, I made it easy for you, you did not remember these things? And generally in sermons and so on, people talk about giving in terms of money and zakat and charity and so on, which is correct. Yes, you should give zakat and you should give charity, etc. But that is not the only thing that you would be questioned about. Let's take an example. At the end of the year, I think it should be every month, but generally it's at the end of the year, people calculate and give zakat. Supposed to be 2.5%. And let's assume by mistake someone gives 2%. And the following month or the following week, he remembers that he miscalculated and it should have been 2.5%. He can correct that. He can correct that. He could say, oh, here's an extra 50 pounds or 500 pounds or whatever it was that I should have given. But if you had time to do something, some good, and you wasted that time in doing whatever it is, some frivolous pursuit, and then 3 hours later, you remembered that you needed to, or you could have done something good, do you think you will ever get those 3 hours back? No, you won't. And this is what God says, that when people are presented to me, they will say, if only you had given us a little bit, we would have done some good. And God says, time is the time that you have. That is all. If it is decreed that you will live for 40 years, that's all you're going to get. If it's decreed you're going to live for 20 years, that is all you have. And you have to do everything in that. Whether it's 20 years or 40 years or 80 years or 90 years, whatever it is. All the good that you have to do has to be crammed into whatever time you have. And you cannot wait for tomorrow to do some good. What's the point about that hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? That at the end of the prayer, he suddenly remembered that he'd been given some gold to give out in charity. And he did not want to leave that good deed, even for a few minutes. Even for a few minutes. Another way to look at it is, well, actually, let me recite another hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. People had lined up for prayer, and takbir had been said, and the Holy Prophet, and someone called out from outside the mosque, asking the Holy Prophet to come and talk to him. And the Holy Prophet left the prayer and went and spoke to the man. And when the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam went back, people said to him, "O Prophet of Allah, takbir had been said. The man could have waited." So what a wonderful reply the Holy Prophet gave. He said, prayer can wait, but I did not know whether that man's need can wait or not. Just imagine that the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave preference to doing good to humanity, and he delayed his prayer. Not his prayer, but everyone's prayer. Everyone's prayer. The whole community was there. And it's always about, have you ever noticed, it's always about useful and good things that you will say, I'll do that tomorrow. Now, I've done it. We've all done it. I wanted to learn how to converse in Arabic, how to speak Arabic, and have a conversation with an Arab in Arabic. And I said, oh, I'll do it next month, and I'll do it next year. And I'll start during summer holidays. And I'll do it when I retire. And I started thinking about that when I was 20 years old. And 53 years later, I still haven't managed to do it. Half a century, more than half a century has gone by. Because we always put off doing something useful and something good. And we waste our time in what is called entertainment or pursuits of leisure. And of course, means of leisure with internet and so many thousand television channels and etc. They keep on increasing. Sometimes I think it takes 10 minutes just to scroll through all the channels. And Netflix and iPlayer and YouTube and God knows what else. And of course, there is useful stuff on there that you can learn. But do we look for useful stuff? No, we don't. You look for something that will mean that we don't have to use our brains. But think about this. As the hadith that I read out, which said, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that a person will not move until he has been asked about four things. His life and what he did with it. That is not how you spend the whole day or the whole hour, but every little second of it. Was it a useful life? He will have to account for the whole of his life. The knowledge that he attained, what did he do with it? Did he share it with others? Did he try to improve others' lives with that knowledge? His wealth, well, everyone talks about how to give charity and so on, so I won't say anything more on that. And his body and how he wore it out. And in another hadith, there was a girl who just got married, and 3 or 4 days after the wedding, Hazrat Aisha, or perhaps a week or two later, Hazrat Aisha Radhiyallahu Ta'ala saw her, and she said, "What's the matter with you? You're a new bride. You should be all dressed up and so on." And the girl said, "What for?" And Hazrat Aisha said, "Why? What's the matter?" And she said, "Well, my husband, he works all day and he prays all night, so what's the point of dressing up? And so he pays me no attention." And Hazrat Aisha mentioned this to the Holy Prophet Muhammad, who called that man And he said, he described various things. And he said, your wife has a right over you, right to your time and everything. Your body has a right over you. And then he gave his own example. He said, some days I fast, some days I don't. I spend time in prayer, but I also sleep and relax and give time to my wives as well. If you can do some good this minute, whatever time it is, and you miss out, then you will never get that time back. Never. It doesn't matter. You know, if you lose money, maybe you can do overtime or maybe do something else and you can get that money back. But the time that you lose, you never get it back. And this is what this verse of the Holy Quran refers to. The things of this world. The Holy Quran uses the terms wealth and children and so on, but things of this world divert you from remembrance of Allah. And what is remembrance of Allah? Remembrance of Allah is to help others, to spend your time on helping other people in whatever way you can. You might have a degree in some subject or other, and your neighbor's child is weak in that subject, and you can give them private tuition. Or you may be a lawyer, and someone might come and ask you for help. Or you may be a doctor. Whatever it is that you do. And God says, when you've lost all the time that you were given, then you'll complain to me and say, why didn't you give us a few more years? We were going to do good, but you caused us to die. It's like me, isn't it? At the age of 20, I think, oh, I must learn conversational Arabic. 53 years later, I haven't done it. And if God says to me, why didn't you do it? I'll say, well, I was going to get round to it, wasn't it? I mean, first we had this house and I had to work all the hours that there were just to pay the mortgage, and then there was something else, and then there were children. And then we moved house and that took up our time, and the new house needed to be renovated, and that took up my time. What does the Holy Quran say? Possessions of this world and your family, they divert your attention from God. That's not saying that you should not do your duty towards them. That does not mean that if you, by working hard, you can earn wealth. You mustn't do that. That is not what Islam is against. But what Islam is against is waste of anything, of your wealth, of your time, of your knowledge. And sometimes people come up with things, oh, you must walk for an hour every day. All our elders I saw after Fajr prayer, they'd go out for a walk and they'd walk for a couple of hours. I remember I couldn't keep up with my grandfather, and he was around, must have been just around 80 years of age. And I was 17. And the speed at which he walked every morning, I could not keep up with him. Why? Because God will ask us about our bodies. Of all the blessings He's given, our bodies, our health, our intelligence, our sight, all of them are His blessings. And we are given these blessings to use them for the benefit of mankind. But over time, we lose these blessings. Our eyesight becomes weaker, our hearing becomes weaker, our muscles are not so strong. We begin to forget things. But we still say, oh, tomorrow I will do this. Today, let me just waste time. Whenever it is anything good that you are required to do, anything that will be helpful for others, it's always tomorrow. But talk about going to the cinema for 3 hours to waste time, and you'll jump into your car and rush down. You won't put that off until tomorrow. But say there is an old person living on their own. They need help. They need company, someone to talk to. Go and spend 3 hours with them. Oh, yeah. Today I've got other things to do. I'll do tomorrow. Remember, time is such a precious resource that we will not get it back. So whatever time you have, whatever your age is, spend it to help others, to do good to others. As the Hadith says, that you will be asked about your life. That is, you were given this amount of time, this precious thing. How did you use that time? And as the verse of the Holy Quran says, people will say, well, I was going to get round to it, It's your fault, Allah. You caused me to die. Tomorrow I would have got round to doing whatever it was. Going to sit with this neighbor who hasn't got anyone else, or look after someone poor, etc. Do it today. Do it now. Once this second is gone, you will never get it back. Remember that. Every morning when you wake up, every evening when you go to bed, ask yourself, how did I spend my day? And if during the whole day you did not do one single good deed, then ask yourself, are you really a human being? That in the whole day you did not do one single good deed for another human being. Barakallahu lana wa lakum fil Quranil Azim wa nafa'ana wa iyyakum bil ayati wa zikril hakim innahu ta'ala jawadun kareemun malikun barraufur rahim. Alhamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह व अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदन अब्दुहु व रसूल। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मदिन व अला आलि मुहम्मदिन कमा सल्लैता अला इब्राहीम व अला आलि इब्राहीम इन्नका हमीदुम मजीद। अल्लाहुम्मा बारिक अला मुहम्मदिन व अला आलि मुहम्मदिन कमा बारकता अला इब्राहीम व अला आलि इब्राहीम इन्नका हमीदुम मजीद। अल्लाहुम्मा अंसुर मन नसर दीन मुहम्मदिन सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम वजअलना मिनहुम वख्ज़ुल मन खज़ल दीन मुहम्मदिन सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम वला अजअलना मिनहुम। इबादल्लाह रहमुकुमुल्लाह इन्नल्लाह यअमुरु बिल अदलि वल इहसानि व इताइ ज़िल कुर्बा व यनहा अनिल फ़हशाइ वल मुनकरि वल बग़ी यइज़ुकुम लअल्लकुम तज़क्करून। उज़्कुरुल्लाह यज़्कुरकुम वदऊहु यस्तजिब लकुम व लज़िक्रुल्लाहि अकबर वल्लाहु यअलमु मा तस्मऊन।
अल्लाहु अकबर अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह हैया सलाह हैया फलाह इक़ामतुस सलाह अल्लाहु अकबर ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह।
अल्लाहु अकबर। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन अर्रहमानिर रहीम मालिकि यौमिद्दीन। इय्याका नअबुदु व इय्याका नस्तईन इहदिनस सिरातल मुस्तकीम सिरातल लज़ीना अनअमता अलैहिम गैरिल मग़दूबि अलैहिम वलद्दॉल्लीन। आमीन। वल अस्र इन्नल इंसान लफी खुस्र इल्लल्लज़ीना आमनू व अमिलुस्सॉलिहाति व तवाफ़ौ बिल हक़्क़ि व तवाफ़ौ बिस्सब्र। अल्लाहु अकबर। समी अल्लाहु लिमन हमिदा। अल्लाहु अकबर। अल्लाहु अकबर। अल्लाहु अकबर। अल्लाहु अकबर। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन अर्रहमानिर रहीम मालिकि यौमिद्दीन। इय्याका नअबुदु व इय्याका नस्तईन इहदिनस सिरातल मुस्तकीम सिरातल लज़ीना अनअमता अलैहिम गैरिल मग़दूबि अलैहिम वलद्दॉल्लीन। आमीन। अरअयतल्लज़ी युकज़्ज़िबु बिद्दीन फ़ज़ालिकल्लज़ी यदुउल यतीम ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراعون ويمنعون الماعون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Astaghfirullah. Rabbana Allahumma anta salam. Thank you very much for joining us for our Friday service. Our next broadcast will be on Monday, inshallah, which will be reflections on the Holy Quran in English. Well, first it will be Tadabburul Quran in Urdu and then reflections on the Holy Quran in English. And that will continue until next Friday. I hope you will join us then. In the meantime, I pray that Allah keeps all of you safe and sound and free from harm. Assalamu alaikum, Khuda Hafiz. Goodbye.